Hi everyone, it's Natalie here again, and I'm back this time with the Tetragrammaton spread. Okay, so it is in Hebrew and therefore read from right to left. Okay, so the first letter Y or Yod, Hey, Vav, and Hey. So the Yod stands for the wand, suit, or fire. The second for the cups, right, or Hey1, sometimes referred to as H1. The Vav is swords, and Hey2 is discs. Okay, so when I got ready to write about this one, a lot of information came through, but most importantly, naturally, I did not pull the damn significator. Let's see. Here she is. She was close to the top. So we have our high priestess, okay? She is the significator of the Tetragrammaton spread. So in the photo that we've got, it is the Hebrew letters that are nestled within the Merkabah, and those represent the name of God. So while it's possible to interpret God in an infinite number of ways, yeah, I think I'll refer back to my earlier discussion. I've used this in other videos, and certainly it's earlier in the document that I'm taking this from, of talking about the abyss and the other as a better means of understanding what I mean by God, right? Yeah, I think so. When we journey and look deeply into the abyss, we find that the other, looking back at us, is not separate from us. And that the God that we've been seeking has been with us all along. That is definitely resonant with my own personal experience up to this point. Our identity as a separate self is not the greatest truth of who and what we are. It is the relative truth of living in a physical body, in what seems like a three-dimensional physical reality. But our identity as a human being of a particular gender, in a particular shape, and living in a particular time is at once poetic, and it's also a really rough expression of the beauty of the whole. At its root, it's a function of the ego, which does its best to keep us separate. I don't believe that this is an innately bad thing, by the way. I really don't. My own journey into the abyss has taught me that without an ego, we cannot continue in a physical body. In other words, we need the ego structure in order to remain embodied in physical form. And our ego is also what offers us a chance to participate in a particular role within society as a whole. So let me break this down just a little bit. I've got, it's all here in the document. It's all written up. But here's the example that came to me in writing about this. If we think of the ocean as the abyss and the waves upon the surface as ourselves, then we can see that we rise up beautifully for just an instant before dissolving back into the ocean. So each wave is therefore subject to the terms and conditions surrounding the moment of its arising and duration, and then it releases and falls back towards the greater whole from which it arose. So the greatest difference is that unlike the wave, we forget that we're part of that greater ocean, and the ego facilitates that perception in order to offer that wave a chance to just contribute something of value to the abyss before disappearing. So it's up to us how to decide the management of our ego. You know, how do we want to manage the ego and manage our perception of separateness? Choosing to manifest God-given gifts and realize our full potential within an embodied form is our gift to ourselves and to the abyss from which we came. And I would say, too, from the abyss that all of us have come from. And in that way, and in countless others, it's a gift to the greater whole. We're never separate from the abyss, but how consciously connected we are to it and how aware we are of its existence at all can vary tremendously from one wave to another. It's not uncommon, for example, to mistake the light shining into the abyss for the abyss itself. The light is a powerful tool that guides us in uncovering various aspects of and treasures within the abyss in order to reclaim them for ourselves. Becoming dependent on the dazzling nature of the light and mistaking its power for that of the abyss is one that many of us have made, and it's really very normal to do that. It's a part of the journey that draws the fool unintentionally into the abyss. Because, right, he's so caught up in the brightness of the glowing cube in the hands of the magician that he cannot see what's behind it. So, I'll put the camera back here for a second. So the fool is busy looking at this and doesn't realize that this beautiful glowing light that he's drawn to is actually, there's nothing back there. You know, the fool is going straight into the abyss through the magician. Right? Okay, so as much as we need the light to guide our way through the abyss, it's crucial to remember that the light is not the abyss itself, nor can it hold all of the treasures we seek. The treasures found in the darkness hold as much value and potential for realization as those found within the light, and it could be argued that they're even of greater value. The light is ultimately what leads us into the abyss as we follow it, seeking the promises that lie within it. But we cannot avoid darkness. And while turning to the light often helps guide us to the next part of our path through the abyss, we will eventually need to navigate without it in order to find our way back. And yes, that is a direct reference to the dark night of the soul. That is absolutely what's being referenced there. So the Tetragrammaton spread helps us understand our way into and out of the abyss. It offers us the insights needed to understand how to manifest the purpose of the life and soul that's held by the magician. Remember, we established, if you don't remember, it's okay because it's in the document. But we established that what the magician is holding here in this Merkabah is your life and soul. Okay, as Marie White puts it. So this spread may be understood as a mirror of the state of our being, offering a truthful look at how our efforts are manifesting and affecting us. So that's a lot of information. I'm aware that this is dense, and that's why I've been reading it really slowly. And that's also why, let me see if I can just see, so I can see, yeah. I can see that I'm looking at you by, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it came out very, very clearly the way that it was supposed to be written and expressed. Yeah, and it's, I don't know, it's weird. It's wonderful and weird to talk about how that came through, but that's also why I'm making it available on Dropbox, because everyone should be able to at least look at that a second time. I think we all learn differently. A lot of us are different types of learners, so some of us hear better or listen better, and some of us are do better if someone's talking to us and we can see the person talking. And some of us still do better if we're able to actually look at the writing on the page. So I wanted to make sure all of those were available. So they're all available and all there. Now, let's look at what these actual positions mean. Oh, I keep moving too much. Here we go. So we've got all of these guys, right? We got all these 4 guys, and we're starting from this side, which looks kind of like an apostrophe, and reading that way. Okay, so position 1, let's see. Position 1, the first letter, yod or Y. Okay, Ta-da, whoops, where are we here? Ta-da, there it is. It's the furthest letter to the right, represents the element of fire in the suit of wands. This position represents our passions, our spirit, our motivations, our desires, and our intuition on the path. So within this one, we're going to find powerful clues about the kinds of gifts that may lie within the abyss that are waiting to be retrieved and then integrated so that we're able to realize the potential, right? Because the things that tend to inspire us are the things that usually are ruled by wands, right? And ruled by the yod. So the things, you may find familiar things here, in fact. You may see things here that make you go, oh yeah, I've always been interested in fill in the blank, right? But then you didn't pursue it because of, this thing or that thing. And that's where we start to take apart beliefs. We start to take apart thought patterns, conditioning that we've gotten from society about what is or isn't something that's worth doing, and all of those things. Okay. So position 2, the second letter, He or H1, right, which is this one, which is the second letter from the right, represents the element of water and the suit of cups. This position represents our heart, our emotions and emotional state, our relationships, and the feelings and emotions that may come up as we approach the abyss, retrieve the treasures from it, and attempt to integrate them into our lives. So, by the way, any card, we may find, I can tell you now, I would probably find, I don't know, something like I don't know. You could find it. I'm going all over the place here, and I'm getting lost because I'm not staying on track. Here we go. So it would be easy, for there to be different, any card could come up in any of these. You don't need to separate out suits in order to do the spread. Just let the cards tell you what they want to tell you, right? So they'll give you information, and you may get like a sword in the cups pile, right? Or a sword in the cups position. Well, that tells you something. Maybe you're feeling a lot of resistance about the idea of the abyss, or you're feeling a lot of trepidation about it. The card that you choose would then probably reflect some of that, right? Some of that fear or nervousness. Okay, position 3, which is the V or the Vav. Here we go. Yeah, this one. That is the swords position. So it represents the element of air in the suit of swords. This position represents the state of mind, our thoughts, our beliefs, for better or worse, and the conflicts that may come up as we approach the abyss. Okay. Yeah, the conflicts that may come up as we approach the abyss, retrieve the treasures from it, and then attempt to integrate them into our lives. Position 4, woo, there it is. Position 4, He, second He, which is the fourth letter from the right, represents the element of earth and the suit of pentacles. This position represents material reality and the way in which our efforts are presently manifesting in the world around us. Okay, so something to be pointed out is that these 4 positions exist in relationship to one another. So they're each affecting the other and then telling us something about the ways in which these elements are in a state of balance or imbalance in our lives. And then more specifically, we could look at, for example, positions 2 and 3. In the middle, so Vav and He. Is that right? Yes, it would be He 1 and Vav. Yeah, positions 3 and 2, right? Because heart and mind are harmonious or they're disharmonious. We know this. And that's going to be reflected there. Are the heart and mind on the same page? So if our heart and mind are at odds with one another, there may be conflict reflected between those 2 positions. Additionally, where there's a vast difference between the messages of the cards in positions 1 and 3, so wands and swords, there may be a dissonance that exists between what inspires us and what we think about it, or the beliefs that we hold about whether or not that's okay. So then perhaps positions 1 and 3 are very harmonious, right? We're familiar with what inspires us and our thoughts are in alignment with it. But what's happening in position 2, which is cups, cups, there they go. Yeah, it tells us that there's still some emotions that require space to be felt and known before the whole body mind is aligned in a way that allows for them to manifest in physical reality. So these 3, are the things that come into contact with one another in our sort of internal primordial soup, I guess, in a way that then manifests in physical reality, right? So what's happening in these 3 positions, there it is, in these 3 positions, right, will give us a clue as to why this one is the way that it is, right, or further information about that. Yeah. And I have it here, but I did not put it in my document, I now realize. So I'm going to have to make some more edits. Let's see. So in the Tetragrammaton spread, a major card or major arcana will always become the focus of the spread. So, if there's something that comes up there, it's like a big flashing red light to say, whoa, you need to look at this. This is the most important thing. How are the other elements in your spread responding to that one thing? Okay. And then you want to look too, I didn't say that here, but I'm going to say it here. You then want to spend some time looking at the world around you. What are the symbols that you're seeing in the cards that you've drawn, or the colors, or the shapes? Are you seeing those in other places in your life? Not just in the cards, but in your actual daily life, right? Because when we pay attention, sometimes we notice those kinds of things coming into manifestation. So I would say look at whether or not those kinds of things, any kinds of symbols that come up, right, day to day, those are going to give you some very, very important clues, right? So let's see what else we got in this document. Yeah. Okay, so examine the cards in relationship to one another once or twice a week, right, to get a sense of how they're relating to one another. It may also help to compare this information to the cards and or other decks that you're using for daily draws for further clues or to identify patterns that are emerging. I love doing that. I think a lot of us in the community enjoy working with multiple decks. This will kind of give you an ability to integrate, other decks into this practice if you want, or to get a break from the Marielle, because that may be maybe so necessary. Let's see. Yeah, and if you wanted to share your work with others, right, through, on YouTube, or if you want to share your work on Instagram, I'm going to use 3 hashtags for this because you don't have, you can use these spreads and not use the Marielle, right? You don't have to. Let's see. The hashtags are going to be merkabahspread, tetragrammatonspread, or Marielle Magic 2020. Because the magician. I just came up with those. I hope those work. I hope they don't already exist. I didn't check. I'm pretty sure they don't. So yeah. So there we are. I think that's it. For right now. Yeah, that's the Tetragrammaton spread. So if any questions come up around the Tetragrammaton spread, anything I've said today, anything that's in the documents that I have, please let me know. Pop a note in the comments or reach out to IM me or IMDM on Instagram, and I will do my best to get back to you. I spend a lot of time sitting working with my client, and it's not always easy to be It's not always easy to be on social media. That's what I'm saying, and check YouTube, but I can check Instagram pretty easily. So if there's a burning thing coming up, just type urgent in all caps, and that'll make sure I see it. Okay. So, I think that is it for the moment. Yeah. So I'll be doing my spreads for everybody very soon. And again, offering more insights and information about the Marielle Tarot and about the spreads themselves. All right, everybody, I'll talk to you soon in the next one. Bye.